It's finally that time of year. October! Halloween is right around the corner, so to celebrate the spooky season, I thought I'd look at a horror film. But I decided not to cover a film that most people know, like Friday the 13th or Halloween. Instead, I decided to cover a film that, while well known in horror circles, deserves way more love. It's, of course, Event Horizon, the 1997 sci-fi horror flick directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and starring Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. I watched this film for the first time a month ago and haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and I'm going to tell you why I like it so much. Spoilers, of course, for the film. Let's start with the film's truly troubled production tale. So, the tale of Event Horizon starts with Paul W.S. Anderson coming off the success of his previous film, 1995's Mortal Kombat, which was a guilty pleasure of mine. Because of MK's success, Anderson started to receive offers to direct films such as X-Men and the sequel to Mortal Kombat, Annihilation. He turned them down though, not wanting to make yet another PG-13 film, but rather an R-rated horror film. Paramount Pictures would send Anderson a script for Philip Eisner's Event Horizon. Anderson initially thought the script was very similar to Alien, with the Event Horizon being haunted by tentacle monsters. He would give the script an extensive rewrite, envisioning a haunted house movie in space, and adding a major element to the film. Hell. Filming took place at Pinewood Studios in England, and in its own way, filming this film was a form of hell. Accidents on set, the actors didn't understand the script. Jolie Richardson, who plays Stark in the film, would later go on to say that the production of the film was cursed, but nothing compares to what this movie had to go through in the editor's room. Because Titanic was taking a while to be made and wouldn't make the summer 1997 deadline, the release date was already set when Anderson signed on, and they were only given 6 weeks to edit the film, instead of the usual 10 weeks. But Anderson had to finish the second unit work, which took 2 weeks, so they were left 4 weeks. And then the infamous test screening of the rough cut occurred. The rough cut was 2 hours and 10 minutes, and the audience and Paramount themselves were mortified by the amount of gore in the film. Paramount demanded the film be shortened, and eventually the film was cut down to 1 hour and 36 minutes. Anderson stated that while the rough cut was way too long, the film was shortened too heavily by Paramount. But hey, we have a finished film now. Hopefully, the critics like it. The critics didn't like it. And the film bombed at the box office. But the film has since gained a cult following, who appreciate the film for what it is, me included. So, to discuss why I like this movie, let's have a quick rundown of the film's plot. The film takes place in the year 2047, when a distress call is received from the starship Event Horizon, which disappeared 7 years earlier on its literal first mission. The rescue vessel Lewis and Clark is sent to investigate the call. The crew consists of Captain Miller, Peters, Stark, Cooper, DJ, Justin, and Smith, and they are joined by Dr. William Weir, the man who designed the Event Horizon. Once on board the ship, the crew are haunted by apparitions, and it becomes very clear that the ship has opened the gateway to another dimension. That dimension being hell. Now, I personally love how, for the most part, this film is more of a psychological horror, a la The Shining, just in space. Scenes like Miller being haunted by a crew member he was forced to abandon and leave for dead really add to the dread that makes us feel like the ship is playing with the guilt of the characters. And it makes it even more horrifying when the film actually decides to showcase the violence in brief segments. I don't think I can show any of it here because of YouTube's guidelines, but believe me, it's brutal. The log of what happened to the previous crew is genuinely one of the more terrifying parts of the film. even if it does lead up to one of the funniest lines in the movie.
We're leaving.
Seriously, I find it weird how this film got by with an MA-15 plus here in Australia. I mean, I'm not complaining, I just find it weird. But aside from the horror in the film, I also like the characters. They may be a little one note, but they're all likable and I didn't want any of them to die, which is a rarity for a horror movie. Albeit, some of that one-sidedness of the characters may come from the heavy editing on Paramount's end. I also really like the music by Michael Kamen. It's atmospheric for the more spooky scenes, and intense for the more action-oriented scenes. I especially like the theme that plays over the opening credits. But there are some issues. The film definitely could have benefited from additional scenes. While the movie is perfectly understandable in its current form, that heavy editing did definitely cut out a few important scenes. And it sucks that the cut footage is basically lost to time now. And also in the climax of the film, they use like these stock punch sound effects that are a bit distracting. I guess 1997 was just the year of stock punch sound effects in movies, huh? But these are only minor issues for me. I still really like this film, and think it deserves way more love. I mean, I saw this display at JB Hi-Fi celebrating the films of the 1990s, and it was on there, so that's cool. And it was also on that new Variety horror film article. That article's pretty bad, but it is on there, so that's representation. I mean, with what this film went through during the production phase, I'm glad we even got a film. Yet alone, a great film. So, yeah, watch Event Horizon, it's great. I've been Icy, see you soon.
Happy Halloween, everybody!